Hey everybody, it's Liz at West Star Tarot. Welcome to my channel. So tonight I'm here to do a VR to, actually the VR was started by Auntie K, Krista at Auntie K's Tarot. But I actually saw the video on Laura at Aquamarine 18 Tarot and Books, I think is her new name. And it just looked like fun. And this is the kind of tag I really enjoy doing, where you kind of go through your decks and find, different things, sort of like a scavenger hunt. Anyway, this is called Deconstructing My Tarot. And Auntie K has listed 10 prompts of things that we are to look for in our tarot collection. So the first thing that we are to pull out is I should say, our favorite court cards. And, this could have gone to a number of decks, but I decided to go with the Next World Tarot. This is the pocket edition. I'm currently participating in a 78-day project overseen by Esther at Mindful Tarot. We're starting on October 15th, which is when there's 78 days left in the year. We pick a deck to work with exclusively, and we pull a card a day in the order that Esther gives us. There's a whole group on her Mindful Tarot Facebook page, and the deck that I chose this year to work with is Next World Tarot. And I'm using the large cards for that. So those cards are put aside. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. Here's the pocket size Next World Tarot quartz. I just love, look at that sky, look at this being. I love the titles. So this is the Queen of Swords, the Throne of Truth. And that just, to me, really captures the Queen of Swords. And here we have the Page of Cups, the Home of Expression, and the Queen of Wands, the Throne of Determination. So I love the titles. I love how the people are portrayed. Christy C. Road hasn't pigeonholed binary gender expressions. So we see all different kinds of non-binary expressions of gender, which is really refreshing and real. So this is the King of Pentacles and Throne of Security, and it just, I don't know, it just helps crystallize the meaning of that card for me. So these are the quartz for Next World Tarot. Love, 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 love the whole deck. One of my favorite decks. And I'm really, really enjoying exploring this deck, spending 78 days deep diving it. So the next prompt is favorite aces, and this is as a set. So I can't pull one ace from one deck and one ace from the other. And so because this deck has my favorite Ace of Pentacles of all time, I went with this. And this is the Druid Craft. So this is the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Wands. This is Will Worthington's art. It's just gorgeous. Look at that with the water overflowing. It just, I love it. And here's my all-time favorite Ace of Pentacles. So I love the bear, I love the rocks, I love the pentagram in the sky, and honestly, most of all, I love the colors in that sky. Stunningly beautiful. I just love this card, and really all the aces in that deck. the Druid Craft. So the next prompt is favorite pips. And one thing that I discovered from this prompt is I don't have very many pip decks. In 2023, I'm going to do a deep dive into Tarot de Marseille. So I just purchased a real straightforward pip deck, a TDM. But I'm not there yet because we're still in 2022. So the deck that I came up with is this one, Anima Monday. And these are sort of semi-illustrated. I think that is freaking gorgeous. Look at that. Beautiful. And so it is pip-ish. You can see, like, the beavers. We get it. The 8 of Pentacles, putting in the work. 5 of Swords. You can see there was some kind of conflict and maybe a bully involved. I don't know. The sadness of the 5 of Cups. 5 of Pence. So I think this is beautiful. I think these pips are lovely. And as I said, really one of my only pippish decks. I'll end there with the 2 of Cups. So that's Anima Mundi. And then the next one is my favorite majors. And again, like the favorite courts, there were several decks that, that I could have chosen and that came right to mind for me. But the one I decided to go for was the Gaian Tarot. And interestingly enough, this was my Drop'em 78 deck last year. So this is the deck I did the 78-day project with last year. And I am not a huge fan of the Wheel of Fortune. This deck is by Joanna Powell Colbert, and she calls it the Wheel. But my gosh, look at that. You can see as we go through the seasons and the moon cycles, just gorgeous. She has renamed Judgment to the Awakening, which I really like. Strength. Beautiful moon card. And I do see the moon as representing or connecting to the divine feminine, the sacred feminine. And so this card really speaks to how I see the moon card. This is the world, and Joanna calls it Gaia, the world. Beautiful star card. Hermit. One of my favorite fools, the Seeker, beautiful. And I love this Hierophant, which Joanna calls the teacher. And this is an elder sitting in front of a redwood tree surrounded by animals and these beautiful plant spirits. I see dandelion, comfrey, yarrow, wild garlic, nettle. And so as an herbalist, this card really speaks to me. And I think of the plants as the teachers, actually. And of course, nature herself and the animals. And the human is just sort of going along for the ride. I love the Priestess in this deck. This is Tower, but she calls it Lightning. The Magician, Canoe, Bindweed, Temperance, Justice, Emperor, Lovers, Empress, not one of my favorite empresses, but okay. Death, the Tree, and I love how the sky and clouds are in her clothing, and the sun. So those are my favorite majors from the Gaian Tarot. And then we're supposed to pick our favorite tarot backs. And I decided to go with the second edition of the Star Tarot. I just love these backs. I think they're gorgeous. I love the blue. I love that star in the middle, and we have the mountains on the top and the bottom. It's just beautiful. So those are my favorite backs. And now the next up is favorite deck container. So I like a good hard box because I think it really helps with storage when I can, just pile the boxes up on top of each other nice and neatly and sturdily. I'm not a fan of having to put decks in bags. They just seem to, fall off the shelf, and I can't ever really get them evenly, neatly stacked. And to be honest, I do have quite a few tarot decks in bags, and sometimes I'm like, oh shoot, let's see, which bag is the Wildwood Tarot in? And sometimes I forget. At least in the box, I know what's in there. I can tell by the outside. So there's a number of reasons why I prefer a nice box. And I just brought forward here 2 examples. So this is the Starseeker Tarot, and it's just, it flips up. There's room enough to put the guidebook, and the cards come out really nicely. Because it's such a hard box, I can travel with it. I can put it in my bag, and it's protected. And then I'm also a huge fan of the old magnetic closure box. So this is the Super Lunaris Tarot, and again, you can the cards fit in, and you can fit the guidebook in. So I'm a fan of a nice hard box. I do like the magnetic closure best, and I tend to see those mostly in indie decks, but there are a few mass markets that have nice boxes too. Not a fan of tuck boxes because I feel like over time they just disintegrate. So no to bags, no to tuck boxes, yay to hard covered boxes. All right, favorite guidebook. So I have a few, but I didn't cheat. I narrowed it down to one. This is the Wise Woman's Tarot by Flash Silvermoon. And this is one of the most impressive guidebooks I have ever worked with. The pips are not so much, just little blurbs on the minors, I should say, but the majors have pages and pages of each one. And what to me is so impressive about this guidebook is that not only is there an extensive bibliography of books and works cited by Flash when she was developing the deck and the guidebook, but there are also, even more impressive to me, footnotes. So when she's talking about, let me pull up a major. So let's see if I can find one. So here in major or Triumph 2 is Illumination. She's ordered. So this is the second trump is actually the moon. It's called Isis. And here we see there is a footnote, number 2. So I can turn to the back of the page here, and I can see that it is from on page 19. The author is Rush. The last name is Rush, and the book is Moon. And so I think that's incredible. I'm really impressed with this guidebook, and I love having a bibliography and footnotes. Very, very impressive and scholarly. Tricky cards. So the next 2 are cards that I think many of us, or at least some of us, have issues with or struggle with. And the first one is the Empress. And don't get me started. I get the whole pregnant empress thing, but it just limits the meaning and scope of that card. And, you know, let's face it, an empress is a ruler. And so why we have to focus on that limiting aspect, I don't know. Anyway, I digress. My favorite Empress card is this one from Tabula Mundi by M.M. Moline. I adore this. In fact, I was at a tarot conference a few years ago, and M.M. was there selling, you know, her decks and things, and I bought a print of this because I love it so much. So we have the symbol, the Venus. She's just so fierce. Look at her. She's got the stars around her scarf on her head. I just love this. The heart with the honeycomb inside it. You know, I don't know. I just love this card. It speaks to my heart and soul. And it is definitely one of my favorite Empress cards. So yay for that. And then the next tricky card is the Three of Swords. And I think the reason Krista, Auntie Kay, mentioned this one is because that Rider-Waite-Smith image, again, is very limiting. And I know a lot of people read the minors combining the numerology, so the number of the card and then the suit of the card. And if you think of the Three of Swords, you think of the number 3. And for me, 3, you know, comes after the duality of 2, so it's more expansive and it's growth. And then combine that with the air aspect of swords, and you know, you talk about the intellect, communication, inspiration, intelligence, ideas, and so forth. And so does a heart with 3 swords stab through it really go with that? And it doesn't. I'm cool with it. I don't mind it. The Rider-Waite-Smith one, I'm just kind of used to it, and you know, I just go with it. But I get why people don't like it. So I picked a non-heart with stabbing swords in it image as my favorite, and this is the 3 of Air from the Gaian. And I think this really corresponds with the number and the suit so much better than that heart with the sword stabbed in it. So we see this man at his desk in his office. He's surrounded by books, which of course make me think about the intellect and intelligence and research and reading and thinking. And he looks slightly distressed, and it seems that he is writing in his journal and pouring out his thoughts and you know, writing and recording what he's thinking about in his journal. I also like that there's a feather there and a couple of pens and pencils. Again, I think that you know, could sort of be the 3 swords, a feather and 2 pencils. So I really do love this, and I think it does speak to the numerological and suit correspondences of the card much better than, as I said, the heart with the stabbed swords. And then the last prompt is favorite extra cards. So I actually have 2 here. Actually I have 6 cards, but from 2 decks. So the first is from the Delta Enduring. There's 4 extra cards in that deck. So we have the Heat, Hurricane, Termite Swarm, and Mardi Gras. So of course, I feel like, you know, these cards really go along with that deck. It's from the Delta region of the United States, and in particular New Orleans. And then this is sort of like from one extreme of illustration to the other. This is from Tarot Fauna, and this is all animal deck. And I love this one. It's called The Wild. Just a beautiful card. So, thank you, Auntie Kay. This was really a lot of fun. It got me to think about my tarot collection, and I really enjoyed pulling things out and thinking things through and looking at all these beautiful decks. So blessings to you all. I hope other folks will join in the tag. Thank you, Laura, for exposing me to this tag. It was a lot of fun.